Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so today this was an unscheduled video and this is not going to be a typical video for me, and for that I apologize. If you came here for that, just look forward to the next video because that's not what this is going to be. If you don't know, I've made a couple videos about it in the past, but there's a game called Super Smash Bros. Melee, which I consider my favorite game of all time, and I would consider myself a very attached member of the community. Super Smash Bros. Melee is a competitive game. It's Super Smash Bros., you know what it is, but Melee is a game that came out in 2001 that's very old, and it's a very big esport. It's been doing pretty well in the past couple years, but this year has been especially hard for the Melee scene because of, obviously, COVID-19 and the global pandemic that we find ourselves in now. It has made it so all of the in-person events for Super Smash Bros. Melee have been canceled or rescheduled or whatever the case may be. It has made it impossible to meet up in person and play Super Smash Bros. Melee, the game that the community loves so much. And that's been real hard and real devastating to the community because if you don't have an online tournament, it's really hard to play the game and to enjoy the game and to have it be played at a high level. So this happened all about in like March, April, of course, the same time as the pandemic started. And since then, we were very lucky and very fortunate to have a man by the name of Fizzy create the program Slippy, which is basically Melee Online. It made it possible to play Melee Online with little to no lag at all. Made it possible so people in California and people in Florida can play a game and it would feel basically the same as if they played in the same room. Basically, he created a way that made it possible for everybody to be able to play the game we love even though we couldn't meet in person, and made it possible to have tournaments though they were online. He made it possible to play. But today Nintendo went to one of these tournaments that was supposed to be held in the upcoming weeks called the Big House, and they ordered them a cease and desist and told them that they are no longer allowed to run the tournament that they had planned. This is because Nintendo's reasoning was something along the lines of that it was their own intellectual property. Let me try to find the tweet here. I apologize. But they basically said this, that it might be cut off on the screen, but basically that the Big House tournament announced plans to host an online tournament for Melee that requires use of illegally copied versions of the game in conjunction with a mod called Slippy during their online event. Nintendo therefore contacted the tournament organizers and asked them to stop. They refused, leaving Nintendo no choice but to step in and protect its intellectual property and brands. Nintendo cannot condone or allow piracy of its intellectual property. Well, newsflash, nothing that Slippy does is illegal. There's absolutely nothing illegal about having the ROM of Melee on your computer. There's nothing illegal about it. There's nothing illegal about Slippy. Slippy, all that it does is create a better online for those ROMs that you have on your computer. If you don't know what a ROM is, basically you insert the Melee disc into your computer, download the ROM from the game so you can play on the computer instead of on the old system, which would be a GameCube. Basically, that was how we were able to play Melee online. So not only is Nintendo just completely wrong, they also neglect to mention the fact that every time they've tried to take this to court and condemn people for quote-unquote illegally using these ROMs, they have not won in any of the lawsuits. Do you know why that is? Well, the answer is because it's not illegal, but they do neglect to mention the fact. They also, in that same statement, made the claim that they have supported many tournaments in the past and want to continue to do so in the future. Well, Nintendo's idea of support is not giving us any money. In fact, it is just letting us play the game. That's their idea of support. They have never provided support for the community. In fact, back in 2013, they tried to do the same thing that they're doing today, and that is tell tournaments that they can't stream their video game because they didn't want them to. And they received such intense backlash that they eventually had to back down from that, and that is what happened at EVO 2013. Now, today the same thing is happening, and obviously the Melee community is not happy about it. But unfortunately, if we don't do something about this soon, Melee will cease to exist because, like I said, we're in the middle of a pandemic. We can't go to in-person tournaments, and now Nintendo is getting rid of the online tournaments. So what will be left of Melee? Well, the answer is nothing. The community will just have to die out. That's what Nintendo wants. Yet they claim to be the big person, stating that they care about their communities and that they support them. But instead of doing that, the only thing they do is try to get rid of those communities. And it's very heartbreaking and very upsetting for a lot of us, and Because of that, the hashtag Free Melee has been trending on Twitter now for a couple hours, and at one point it reached #1. I don't know as of the recording of this video or when I release it if it will still be there, but it's very upsetting, and I'm basically making this video to spread awareness, and I think everybody should spread awareness. I'm not telling you what you have to do, but I ask you, as a fan of Melee and as a person who wouldn't be here without Melee, I ask for your help. Melee is the community that got me introduced into YouTube and Twitch. It was the community that made me do what I'm doing right now, recording YouTube videos in front of you and releasing them for you guys. I may not be the biggest creator in the world yet, at least, but I still care so much about this game, and it is what has brought me to this point. So I ask one thing of you watching. Please support Melee. Go on Twitter, retweet, like, make your own tweet with the hashtag Free Melee. Make a YouTube video, watch the YouTube videos, watch the Twitch streams, leave likes, do everything that you can to spread awareness for Melee. Because this is wrong, and it needs to stop, otherwise where is the point where it will stop? Nintendo does not want this game to succeed, yet they put on the facade that they do. So I ask only one thing, and that is for your help. And please spread awareness and use the hashtag Free Melee. Thank you.